Ooh, okay, selfie stick from hell here. Hey everybody, so I gotten some requests to show off or basically explain like kind of what my home gym setup is like for my grind style calisthenics programs, and I got some unique toys, some DIY projects and stuff I want to share with you, so let's dive into it. So the star of the show is my Dragon Door Bodyweight Master freestanding pull-up unit. The pull-up bar is adjustable with these knobs here so you can have it at a good height for a full hang. But it's also these other bars that come with it. We've got our vertical bars and two other horizontal bars that can go at various heights for rows, tricep extensions. Basically, wherever you want a horizontal bar, you can have it. And wherever you want the neutral bars for dips, neutral grip push-ups, pull-ups, and you can adjust the width to whatever you want, which is a godsend, because one of my pet peeves is manufacturers that are like, yeah, that's how wide you should be doing dips. I'm like, yeah, sure, if I'm Andre the Giant, but I like a nice, narrow dip bar because that way I can keep it nice and tight. It's a lot easier on the joints, and I can just basically set this thing up for any type of exercise I want. I've made a few modifications to it over the years because it's what I like to do, is tinker and upgrade from stock equipment. So this is actually not the original coat of paint. Moving cross country several times over a few years really dinged it up, so this is a bit of a different shade of black. And the posts here, I've added some gussets inside, which I wouldn't recommend. I pretty much almost destroyed these plastic inserts that keep it together doing so. But what that does is it makes sure that it's a very solid, tight apparatus. There's no clanging and banging when I'm doing like my shift work for the stability phase on my pull chain in grind style calisthenics. And the third thing that I did was these bars are held in place with these clever little hooks and just kind of hanging on, but the bottom is a little bit just like a pendulum on a clock, which is okay, it's secure enough, but I like to have things feel really tight and locked in. So I added these magnetic blocks. I just glued them there. They're from a hardware store. So now when I put those on, they lock in magnetically, and they're much more solid, tight, gives it a much more controlled feel to the entire apparatus. It really is a wonderful piece of equipment. It's just a shame Dragon Door doesn't make these anymore, although they do still have the web page up. You can put in your email address and be notified in case they should ever put them back into production. The other notable piece of equipment, of course, is my Dragon Door ISO chain, which is truly a game changer for my isometric training equipment. And the modification that I made with this was I actually took out the chain and the carabiners and I added a heavy duty seatbelt webbing cam buckle strap, which makes it a lot easier to adjust the height of it on the fly and just a little bit easier to use. But this is something that just kind of sits here in the corner. I use it a lot with the tension phase in my grind style calisthenics and also as a good finisher for like the biceps and stuff after a good pull chain workout. And then, of course, over here, we've got my wall of straps. This is a bit of an unhealthy obsession of mine. People come over for dinner and stuff, and they're like, Matt, you want to tell us a little something about your little S&M dungeon back here? But no, this is what I'm totally obsessed with when it comes to calisthenics, is suspension calisthenics, rings, suspension equipment and stuff, to really bring a lot more to the table than just basic progressive calisthenics. We got the body wisdom suspension setup, monkey bars. These are my isometric equipment, my ISO loop that I developed in help with World Fit, the ISO trainer, of course the ISO flow from Bullworker and so on. These rings are actually not even on the market yet. That's from a company that's going to be releasing them, and I'm going to be doing a review on them in hopefully the near future. And then over here, of course, the Kensui weight vest. I'm not a weight vest guy. In the past, I've not had great experience with it. They're uncomfortable, they're tedious and cumbersome to use, they're just kind of restrictive and stuff like that. I'd much rather use like a dip belt or like my ISO loop, just put a plate around for my heavy weighted dips and pull-ups. That's all the weighted stuff I need. But they did a great job with this thing. It's very comfortable, it's easy to adjust. You use the weight that you already have at the gym with plates and stuff like that. So I always highly recommend it. The setup that I use is very simple. I got a 25-pound plate, two 10s, a 5, and a little baby 2.5, just for like micro loading in case I ever want to go up in smaller increments. And then over here we have my DIY wall for suspension equipment. Again, a total obsession of mine is to DIY this stuff. It's a lot smaller than it used to be. I used to have at any given time about 5 or 6 different DIY projects that I was working on. But now we've got these two here. I haven't made videos on these yet to go into greater details, but this is a specialized suspension foot unit. Works really well as a addition to gymnastics rings. Because people are like, how do I put foot slings on gymnastics rings? Well, you don't. You make one of these, which is very quick, cheap, and easy to do. And these are very secure, fully adjustable, very comfortable foot slings. And over here, this is kind of a new project that, well, I've worked on for several years. I just haven't made the video yet. But these are my grind strap 2.0 or 1.5. Works on the Prusik sliders that I talk about in smart bodyweight training, along with the adjustable foot slings here and the durable gripped PVC handles. They work really well. But probably the biggest reason why I haven't done much DIY stuff in quite a while is I now have these. These are a custom setup that I had Nosk make for me. If you've watched my stuff for a while, you know I'm a huge fan of the Nosk brand. They make a very high quality suspension setup. They were kind enough to make me a set of these. They do everything you want. They work with every conceivable anchor point, out of reach, door anchors, within reach. They're both dual and single anchor points, so it's a convertible anchor point, full vertical adjustment with the push of a button. It's also got the adjustable foot loops, so the foot loops are whatever size and secure that you want. You can also tilt the handle so you have a vertical grip for things like tricep and hammer grip curls and stuff, but it still rotates like this. The lay flat straps that Nosk is known for, so it's very comfortable for things like push-ups, dips, but it's also extremely compact and portable. You could practically fit one of these in a pocket. So ever since I've had these suckers made for me, this is primarily what I've been using. And then finally, we've got my walls of stuff and things and knickknacks. A lot of it's actually more fitness related than you may think, like my little blue dude grinder here. He was actually supposed to be the model for the images in my second book, Smart Bodyweight Training. Because I didn't want to take pictures of me in one sort of setting. I wanted various things like pictures of doing push-ups, what it would look like if you were looking up from the ground kind of thing. And so I bought him on Kickstarter, but it took so long to get him. It was actually 2 years that I just found a different way. I used the computer models. The muscled mannequin shows the anatomy a little bit better that way too. Nonetheless, he kind of has a little place here. And of course, I got my manuals from PCC, SCC, RKC, that sort of thing. I got my books. Down below here on the bottom shelf, I've got all sorts of the accessories and the cases and stuff. I look at fitness equipment design as like an art form. It's something that I just have a fascination with. To me, these are not just tools, but works of art that deserve to have some respect paid to them and admired. And of course, my Lego collection. I like Lego the same reason that I have the approach in fitness, is you have a bunch of pieces and parts, and once you understand how it all fundamentally works together, you can create your own things and make a lot of fun stuff happen. To be perfectly honest, I probably only use about 10% of it and its capabilities, since my workouts are very simple with micro workouts and grind style calisthenics, but nonetheless, it's fun to have the toys if you're kind of an equipment gearhead like myself. Thank you very much for watching. Be fit and live free.